Hello everyone, welcome to ABC Interactive English. I'm Matt.
And I'm Nina, and today we're talking about hashing, a fun and interesting way to run, and this is part 3.
Okay, so
Yes.
what we've learned is that hashing is not just a fun and interesting way to run, but it's a fun and interesting way to meet new people.
Yeah, and actually in Taiwan, especially in Taipei, there are so many groups and events that you can join, just like hashing, right? And
Yeah.
you can meet tons of people from all around the world. I've also heard of like language exchange clubs.
Okay, yeah, so many of these groups and clubs I think are great ways to meet lots of people from many different countries. And as you mentioned, language exchanges, you know, in these clubs there's lots of people from different countries, so the people that speak different languages as their
Yeah.
native language, and it's a good way to meet people like
Yeah,
that.
great way to meet new friends and from different parts of the world
Right,
and
so
learn
there's
a
like
different language.
sports teams. So I joined a Gaelic football team here. So it's kind of Irish football. It's kind of strange.
Okay.
But I found it's a great way that I met a lot of new friends and a lot of international friends from different places, as well as a lot of Taiwanese people who play.
That's so cool. And yeah, that's the thing with these types of clubs, someone has to start them, right? So it's interesting to think like, oh, where did hashing come from? So
Yeah.
that makes us wonder.
So it's going to be interesting to learn a little bit about the history of this hashing and find out where it all came from and how it ended up here in Taiwan.
Yeah, let's find out.
In 1938, some British men in Kuala Lumpur started a running club. They named it the Hash House Harriers. They gathered once a week for exercise and good times. They based their run on a British public school racing game, Hare and Hounds.
All right, so we were talking about hashing, and in part 1 and part 2, we learned that Donna and Albert went hashing, and it was Albert's first time, right? So he didn't quite know what hashing was or how to run in this race, I guess.
Yeah, so it was his first time. He's learning about the rules and what they need to do, and it sounded like he was having a great time doing it.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to know. I'm interested to find out, how this all started.
Yeah.
Where did hash running come from, and why do people do it? So
Yeah.
let's go into some of the history of hash running.
Yes, let's learn about it.
In 1938, some British men in Kuala Lumpur started a running club.
Okay.
They named it the Hash House Harriers.
Oh, in Kuala Lumpur, so in Malaysia.
That's right, that's the largest city in Malaysia. So British men, meaning so from Britain, so some British men, so they're not Malaysian men, they're foreigners in Malaysia, and they've started a running club, and that's a long time ago, 1938. So
Wow.
people have been doing hash running for a long time.
Yes, and I'm guessing because they're in a foreign country and they wanted to maybe do something more social and hang out with more people, so that was a way for them to like do some extra activities, right?
Yeah.
And they named it something. So when you name something, it is a verb. It's to give someone or something a name. So an example sentence would be, we named our dogs Shandy and Belle.
Okay, those are some good dog names.
Continuing, they gathered once a week for exercise and good times. Okay, so it's not just like, oh, let's just go exercise. It's also they want to have fun, right?
No, yeah, that's right. So just exercising, that's not a good time. So you want exercise and good times. It can make probably the exercise a bit easier to do when you know you're gonna have good times.
Yes.
So I said that they gather. So when to gather means to bring something or bring some people together or to come together. So in this case, we're talking about people gathering means many people come together or they meet to do something. So you can also gather things. If I said I gathered some berries, it means I picked some berries and brought them together and I gathered them. But in this case, people don't need to be gathered, so people gather themselves. So
Yes.
that's why it says they gathered or they came together. once a week for good times and exercise.
Okay.
So they based their run on a British public school racing game, Hare and Hounds.
All right, so based on a British public school racing game. Public is an adjective. It usually just means for everybody, and it's usually provided by the government. So it tends to be cheaper than something that is private. For example, a private and public school.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and that's interesting. So this is a game that they played at school. So it's something that maybe you'd play in the break time at school with your friends, some way to get exercise and have fun during school. So they mentioned the game is called Hare and Hounds. So a hare is an animal with long ears, and it looks very much like a rabbit, but it's actually a different animal, and it's larger than a rabbit. And one thing a hare is known for is running very fast. So a hare can run very quickly, and maybe that's why this running game is about a hare.
Yeah, maybe that's why they call the front runner the rabbit, right?
Yeah, I think so. We learned earlier that the front runner in the hash running is called a rabbit, so a rabbit and a hare are very similar animals.
Yes, and it's hare and hound. Hound is a noun, is a type of dog used for hunting.
Okay.
All right.
And you know what? Yes, I think they would use hounds to hunt hare, actually. So I think, hounds are usually known for chasing animals like a hare when hunting. So I think that's why you might name a game where you're chasing others, hare and hounds.
That makes sense. Okay. All right. So I guess we learned where the name came from and who invented the game. And we will learn more about it after the break.
Yeah, looking forward to learning more history about hash running after the break.
In it, a hare sets a path, and the hounds chase after and try to catch it. The runs were 8 to 10 kilometers long. At their ends, everyone would eat, drink, and socialize. Hashing is now very popular, and there are clubs all over the world.
Welcome back. We are continuing with our article about hashing. So in it we've learned that this hash running was started in 1938 in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, and it was started by a group of British men. And these men started it based on a British public school game called Hare and Hounds. So I think we're going to learn a little bit more about what this game that they based hash running on is about and how it relates to hash running today.
Yeah, so continuing with the article. In it, a hare sets a path and the hounds chase after and try to catch it. Oh, so it is very similar to hashing, right? So the rabbits, the front runner, will set the path, but in this case, the other people are just following the path, right?
Yeah, I think in hash running you follow the path, but you don't actually need to try to catch the rabbit or the hare in this case. So a little bit of difference there, but we can see that in both cases you are running after, or as in the school ground game, they actually chase after and try to catch. So to chase means to run after something, to run, to try, usually to catch something.
Yeah.
So maybe if there is a thief who stole something, the police will chase after the thief to try to catch him and take him away.
Yeah. Continuing with the article, the runs were 8 to 10 kilometers long. At their ends, everyone would eat, drink, and socialize. Okay, so that's actually a lot of fun, right?
That's a pretty long race or long run, I guess.
Yeah,
so
it is.
8 to 10 kilometers. I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah, I don't know if I could either, but I guess these people start short and then eventually they do more and more. So kilometer is a noun. It's a unit of measurement. So it's the same as 1,000 meters.
Okay, that's right. So kilo in this case means 1,000.
Yes.
And so kilometer, 1,000 meters.
There you go.
So they're running 8,000 to 10,000 meters each time.
Woo, that's a lot.
Okay, and after these races, they will eat, drink, and socialize.
Yes.
So socialize is a verb. It usually just means to talk, and actually it means to do social things, which means to talk with other people usually.
Yeah,
So
sometimes like talk or do something or like have fun together. That's socializing.
chatting,
Yeah.
gossiping, telling secrets about your friends, all different kinds of socializing. So.
Yes. So continuing, hashing is now very popular and there are clubs all over the world, including Taiwan.
Including Taiwan, that's right. So from what I've heard, hashing is a great way if you move to a new city, move to a new country. I know that especially if you've been involved with hashing before, you can always find another group of hash runners in that new city or new country, and I think it's a really great way, no matter where you are, to meet new people and to make a new group of friends.
Yeah, and I think it's so cool how it started from a little group of British men in Kuala Lumpur, and now it's all over the world, and they just based it off of their childhood game.
Yeah.
And changed it a little bit and made it more fun and interesting.
And made it more social. So yeah, I wonder if there's any other, school ground games that we could make into a club that's all over the world.
That would be cool, right?
I'll start thinking, start my own social club.
Well,
Anyway,
good luck.
maybe I can be just like these British guys and start my own history. But I think we all need to look into how we can join a hash run near us soon.
Yeah.
And I hope you enjoyed today's article and are inspired to start running.
In 1938, some British men in Kuala Lumpur started a running club. They named it the Hash House Harriers. They gathered once a week for exercise and good times. They based their run on a British public school racing game, Hare and Hounds. In it, a hare sets a path, and the hounds chase after and try to catch it. The runs were 8 to 10 kilometers long. At their ends, everyone would eat, drink, and socialize. Hashing is now very popular, and there are clubs all over the world.
Hi, I'm Tina. 我们来看这一课的重点单字。第一个 name， 动词，命名、取名。I named my cats Nini and Nana. 我帮我的猫分别取名为妮妮和娜娜。下一个单字 gather， 动词，聚集、集合。People gathered in the room to hear Ryan speak. 人们聚集在那个房间里听 Ryan 讲话。下一个单字 public， 形容词，公立的。Helen goes to a public school in India. Helen 在印度一所公立学校上学。India 就是印度。Public school 是公立学校，那私立学校怎么说呢？就是 private school。Private 就是私立的。最后一个单字 kilometer， 名词，公里。Jackson walks 2 kilometers to school every morning. Jackson 每天早上都要走2公里的路到学校。接着我们来看重点文法。第一个 A bases B on C。A 根据 C 来达到 B。Base 是一个动词，表示以什么为基础或者是依据的意思。我们来看看这个例句。The writer based his new book on history. 那位作家以历史为依据写了他的新书。下一个文法 A chases after B. A 追赶 B。Chase 表示追赶、追逐。我们来看看这个例句。The dog is chasing after Lily's cat. 那只狗正在追 Lily 的猫。以上就是这一课的重点单字跟文法，回去记得复习哦。我们下一课再见，拜拜。
Hi, I'm Steven. Now, if you want to make a call, you'll probably use a cell phone, right? Before the cell phone was invented, people would use payphones or home phones. Today, we're going to learn the history of home phones in Taiwan. Before the telephone came into the world, people used telegraphs. Telegraph lines were first built in Taiwan in late Qing Dynasty. The Japanese built Taiwan's early telephone systems. People used hand crank telephones. The calls were linked by operators. Dial telephones came into Taiwan later. The calls were linked by automatic telephone exchanges. Today, people use push-button telephones. All the calls are linked by computers.